There is a reason why Indian football is in the death throes. Not just competition-wise, even administration-wise. AIFF continues to become a laughing stock because one of the clubs who got unanimously rejected in entering the ISL, now they are once again reaching out to that same club. The ISL has now begun for 13 days. It's been running for the past 13 days. Now AIFF is thinking about accommodating one new club in. If governance has mismanagement, it is the AIFF at this point in time. Because Churchill Brothers, one of the legacy sides who are there in the Indian football scene, now AIFF is considering getting Churchill Brothers in the ISL, but most clubs have rejected this offer. Now, what is this entire Churchill Brothers ISL fiasco that the AIFF has created simply? It is 2 weeks after ISL start, ISL 25-26 season start, AIFF writes to all clubs seeking their considered views of participating clubs on Churchill Brothers and FC Goa participation. Churchill Brothers. You all know what is the backstory about it. I'll come to it a bit later for those who don't. But how can in any league that runs in the world, how can any league decide to include a club when the season's already begun? It is totally mind-blowing that these kind of things can be done, which suggests governance issues are a huge problem in AIFF. On February 12th, when you look at how this timeline has started, on February 12, 2026, AIFF Executive Committee, the club's own, the federation's own executive committee, rejected the inclusion of Churchill Brothers in ISL. But AIFF writes the mail on February 25 saying, considered views of participating clubs on Churchill Brothers. What changed between 12th to 25? What has changed? Are they following pseudo-democracy at this point in time? Oh, let us give them more chances. What is the major issue all about? The basic premise of why Churchill Brothers can't be included, why this current situation has come about. It is all the I-League fiasco that took place between Interkashi and Churchill Brothers. Interkashi, now the entire CAS battle, Court of Arbitration for Sports, is going on between Interkashi and when you look at it, Churchill Brothers. It was an entire scenario which poisoned the whole scene. Now what happened? Initially, Churchill Brothers were awarded the I-League title. But Interkashi had actually appealed to CAS saying that wrong number of points were deducted over the status of one player. Namdari FC, the club against whom they were docked the points, Namdari FC had fielded an ineligible player. And that is where the whole situation enveloped. Court of Arbitration then decided that yes, you have to award it to Interkashi, and Interkashi were the inaugural I-League champions then at that stage. Now, Churchill Brothers now, they have not decided to stay put. And that is the reason why now the push into ISL, let's consider Churchill Brothers. Remember, Churchill Brothers owned by Churchill Alamo, who is one of the more powerful ministers in Goa at this stage, and they are a legacy side. But this is going way too far. And why was the proposal rejected in the first place? The clubs rightfully argued, ISL 25-26 league structure is closed and final. This forms the basis of existing sporting, operational, financial and contractual commitments. No expansion or alterations acceptable at this stage. You've got a structure, you've got these many teams. Stick with it. If you make alterations, what about the commercial rights? What about all the other logistical issues? AIFF simply is not considering that. And the other major issue, this is actually the second letter from clubs to AIFF. Please do not include Churchill Brothers. This is the second time the clubs have said it. All ISL clubs except Mohammedan Sporting had earlier written urging it not to entertain any proposal to include Churchill Brothers before ISL start on February 14th. Now, Delhi, Sporting Delhi, and when you look at it, one of the other clubs has said, why don't you consider it? But all the other majority clubs have said no. This is unprecedented, and there is one more reason. The issue of Churchill Brothers is currently sub judice before the Swiss tribunal, and any decision would need to be taken with due consideration to the legal process and broader interests of Indian football. Now, supposing if Churchill Brothers, unprecedented, they get included in the ISL, then what is the rule? Is it a free-for-all like the Wild West, where rules just don't give a damn, we do it according to our own convenience? There is a certain thing going on in the legal backdrop. And if you include a club with that legal backdrop in it, what is the message you're sending across? Which is why the mess that AIFF created in the I-League due to the mishandling of the Interkashi situation has meant that, boss, this will spill over into ISL 25-2026. And the very thought that a league has begun and you're trying to get one club in shows the level of mismanagement and incompetency that is there in the Indian football administration. And if this continues, Indian football is anyway dying a silent death. It will continue to wallow in a silent death mode. Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this video. Subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis.